Hey everyone, welcome back to Magically Unstable. I'm Kurt.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Nicole.
And we are here to talk about Disney.
And our anxiety.
And that's why we're magically unstable.
Oh, Jesus.
Let's do that one more time.
Or we can just keep that whole thing.
Oh my God, that made me lightheaded. Oh my God.
I'm Kurt.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Nicole.
And we are here to talk about Disney.
And our anxiety.
And that's why we're
magically unstable.
Hey everybody, welcome back to our lovely Magically Unstable podcast, where we are super magically unstable. I am Kurt. I have Nick and Nicole here with me, and let's start off with talking about our weeks.
Oh, I'm so unstable today.
I'm trying something new. I don't know. I'm getting bored with how I introduce our podcast.
It sounds fine to me. I like it. I rolled with it. I was not laughing at you, by the way.
How was your week, Nick?
I mean, it's like 50-50 for me. It hasn't been bad. I've been working a lot this week. I mean, today I got a Trenta cold brew from Starbucks. I got approximately 1.5 hours of sleep last night, maybe 2.5 hours of sleep. I don't really know. So I have been so fucking tired all day, and I knew we had to record this GD podcast. So I was like, gotta go get coffee. And I ordered a venti, and they handed it through the window, and my hand like didn't even fit around it. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, it literally is like a whole jug of coffee in a, look, you see that?
I
It's
wish
so
they would have
big.
like just told you that it was a venti so that you like freaked out and like thought that your hand shrunk overnight or something.
Honestly, I might. So that was great. I'm really happy about that. I mean,
Why did you only sleep for an hour?
I mean, I was up until like 2:45 last night crying about my dead dog, like all night.
Oh man.
So, yeah. And you know, after you cry, like you get a headache and then you just like don't really want to sleep. Well, that was me. So, you know, here I am with my Trenta coffee and I'm actually doing all right. So,
Nice.
fuck, which one of you? Nicole, how was your week?
I don't think
let's
it
hear
was
how bad your week
that
was.
bad. I bought a new suitcase today. I went and picked that up a little bit earlier because
Nice.
Hey,
Nice.
I'm gonna pee in it. I'm gonna pee in it in June.
Me too.
great.
Do a little squat.
I'll make sure to come with cat pee too, so you can just really just let it soak in the fabric. No, it hasn't been bad. I'm getting ready to leave and go dog sit for the next week. So, and I'm in my closet right now
Why do you always dog sit?
You
I feel
are
like you always
infinity
dog sit.
sitting.
because I monopolize the entire like area of dog sitting, and people pay me really well. So
Nice.
That's a good reason.
Mhm.
yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my week. My upcoming week. Oh, I scheduled my second vaccine for
Hey,
next Friday. Not next
Got that
Friday.
two-doser.
2 weeks from today. Yes. So,
yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
I'm going to die the next day, but it's fine. Everything's fine.
you'll be okay.
Kurt, how's your week?
My week has been pretty good. Just trying to get the schedule situated for our trip to Florida next week to go get some stuff for the Pack Prodigy. PackProdigy.com.
So excited.
Shout out to our boy Mike. Yeah, so I'm gonna fly out to Florida next week. So I've just been getting all of that situated. And I'm also getting my second shot the day I leave. So that should be fun.
Yay, I'm so excited for you to be here all sweaty and fevery.
Yeah, let's hope that I had terrible side effects for the first dose. Let's hope the second dose, there's nothing.
Let's hope so.
Let's
hope so.
I'm going to put that energy out into the universe. But yeah, let's head into housekeeping.
All right, it's housekeeping. Hey, if you're new, welcome to Magically Unstable. This is housekeeping. This is where we talk about all things new Disney. So why are you laughing?
I just love I love your thought process / build up. Hey,
And it's different every week. So if you are new, next week it'll be completely different. So come back. But
same information.
Right. I say yes. But this is where we talk about all things new in the parks, in the company. So let's go ahead and start. Fuck, we started with Disneyland last week. I don't want to hear about it. Nicole, what's going on in the company right now?
So as of 2 days ago, the Disney company announced that they are doing something called Launchpad. Have you guys ever heard of Launchpad?
I've heard of a launch pad.
Yeah, I know of one launching pad, but what is it? we're all not talking about the same thing.
Heard. So they had people from around the world. The Disney company had people from around the world like audition to work with their different filmmakers. So like for Pixar, for Disney, for oh god, what else did they have? Disney Plus, Lucasfilm, right? Exactly.
Industry.
Marvel.
So they had these people like create films to audition to kind of just like, I don't know, they just wanted to get like a different vision from around the world. And the theme was Discover. And they are going to be launching this, I think, to Disney Plus, maybe. But the 6 people who were selected are all from around the world, and they have to create the same storyline being mentored by somebody like different filmmakers with Disney. So like with Lucasfilms, with the Marvel Studios, with Pixar, like every one of them is going to be assigned to one of these applicants, and they're all going to be creating films that are going to release. So
nice.
That's neato. All I can think in my head is like Disney is just like running so short of ideas for films. Yeah. They're like, let's just use other people's ideas. Although I don't want to undermine how cool it is that they're like reaching out into the world and keeping their scope wide. That is rather neato.
Right. Well, one of the quotes that like made me pick this too is it says, the goal of Disney's Launchpad is to diversify the types of stories that are being told and to give access to those who historically have not had it. The filmmakers whose shorts comprise of the first seasons of Disney's Launchpad are all from underrepresented backgrounds. Inspired by life's journey, their films will be based on the theme Discover. So they're all going to be telling the same story, but just from different like points of view from around the world that are relevant to their cultures. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. So. That is pretty darn cool. That's a good one.
Yeah. And auditions will be opening for season 2.
Nice. Great.
Cool.
In like a couple months. So
sweet. Cool one.
Yeah. Nick, what you got? Because I don't want to hear about Disneyland either.
There's literally nothing about Disneyland.
Let's do Disneyland because I'm going to bitch for a little while. So let's go to Disneyland.
I got nothing. Last week was like my housekeeping for probably at least a month.
Would you say it was the tip of the iceberg? It's all downhill from here.
No. It would be like the whole iceberg. And Kurt's just talking about the tip now,
it's basically the entire thing.
I don't know.
I will
fucking know what I'm talking about.
The only thing I have is, tickets went on sale yesterday. We were lucky enough to snag some. Don't know how that happened. But yeah, so we're going to head to Disneyland the second week of May and then the second week of June, third week of June. But to answer my question from last time, or Nick's question actually, is that the Park Hopper tickets have a 2-week period that you can use. So you can, it's still not really that long. But it's 13, you can use it within 13 days. So when you go to make a reservation on the app, you can select, so they, I selected May 14th and then it gave me 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after that I could use my second day of a 2-day Park Hopper pass.
I mean, like a 2-day, I guess, isn't so bad, but like the 4 days, like... I don't know. It just doesn't seem right to me to have. I mean, I guess, though, if you know that you're buying a 4-day Park Hopper and your intention is to buy a 4-day Park Hopper and spread that over a year, I could see that like you're technically scamming the system. So I can see why Disney maybe gives you like a limit. I get it. Okay. Yeah.
But they also, maybe they would extend it for how many days your park hopper is. I have no idea. I only bought the 2-day park hopper. But that's that. When tickets went on sale, it was a madhouse. And I saw on Instagram, some people were waiting in line in the virtual queue for like 9+ hours to get tickets.
It's crazy.
And it was so overrun with Disney's computer system that it affected Walt Disney World like services. So I think that was pretty funny.
I literally just saw some girl post on Instagram. I was on our Foreverland Instagram, and she was like, I'm going back to Disneyland. I'm so happy, even though it took me 14 hours to get these tickets. And I would be like,
Jesus.
How? Like, what a trooper.
I know, it's insane.
A trooper. Wow.
I would have been very upset. So I sent my sympathies to those people who waited 9+ hours. I was thankfully lucky to only wait like an hour and 45 minutes. Which
is not that bad. I remember, did we wait for like 2 hours for a touch of Disney tickets? So yeah.
What's actually nice is that so you know how when Disney does these virtual queues, they like link your access to your web browser, and if you like refresh your web browser, or if you get out of it, like that's it, you can't do it anymore. Disneyland started doing it to your My Disney Experience account. So as soon as you were allowed access into your account, or like into the like to buy tickets or make a reservation, you had to sign in to your My Disney Experience account. And then from there, you could kind of like move freely throughout the website. As long as you were signed in, you could kind of do whatever you wanted to, which was, I think, a much better system.
That's nice because it's like you have like a safety net. If something happens, once you sign in, you're not going to have to wait 9 hours again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, what you got, Nick?
Oh, boy. So it's good. Like, overall, it's good. But, like, of course, I always have something to bitch about on this podcast. So, so this housekeeping has been a long time coming. And I'm saying it with a smile on my face. But Daddy Josh DeMero announced that... So first off, if you didn't know, Disney, we've talked about this prior on our podcast. So if you listen to our podcast, you do know this. Disney has been working really hard to kind of bring inclusivity a lot more to the company. That means like a lot of education on diversity and inclusiveness and just working towards, I think, being a company that's viewed as being very accepting of others and their lifestyles, their gender identities, their ethnicities, their races, cultural backgrounds, all that good stuff. So this apparently, which I didn't know, was announced to cast members last year. So this has actually been in the works for a little bit. All cast members are allowed now to have a little bit more expression on who they are. So in the past, they haven't been allowed to have their nails done. So no nail polish, if you were female appearing, you had to have female appearing hair. You weren't allowed to have like very masculine looking hairstyles, some jewelry, and tattoos. That's the most exciting part Yeah. So now to be more inclusive with people's cultures and backgrounds and all that good stuff, cast members are now allowed to show their appropriate tattoos. So I think that's just the coolest thing in the world. I got a little emotional today. I saw some pictures of cast members with their long sleeves gone and their tattoos showing freely in the parks. And they, cast members are now allowed to wear their jewelry. I'm not sure. I haven't quite looked into facial jewelry like a nose ring or lip rings or anything. But as for ears, you're allowed to have like more than one earring stud now. And one cast member had their like 5 ear piercings in or ear pieces in with their tattoo showing. And I thought that was great. So the bad side of this is, first of all, this is not us. All 3 of us have tattoos. piercings, the whole thing. We're very accepting and very happy for this. But I have seen a lot of backlash about this. Yeah. And I wanted to bring it up because I think what I've seen has been very, very inappropriate. It's kind of like beyond, you know, you don't think the world can get any worse, and then it does. So
you'll have plenty of time to bring this up in my therapy session.
Yeah, I don't want to bring up too much because I do have a lot, and maybe if we want to pause until your therapy session, because I have like a whole written up part.
I cannot wait. I wanted to pick this as my therapy session because I knew that you were gonna go into this for your housekeeping.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to have a conversation with you and Nicole about like how sad and like outdated, and there are just so many adjectives that I could use right now about the backlash that is happening about this, which is just, I need to have a therapy session about it.
You know what? I need a little bit of therapy on this too. So I think just so housekeeping doesn't go like crazy long, I think this will be better held as a conversation. So maybe Kurt, after you're done with your main, I can toss in, because I've been really disgusted by some of the things that I've seen people say. And yeah, it's really sad. So let's maybe pause the negative until Kurt's therapy session. But yeah, as just for housekeeping, that is so great. As someone who's always kind of thought about wanting to work at Disney, Kurt, we've both applied at Disney before, and
I've applied at Disney.
Nicole, you're right, Nicole. You applied at Disney.
I wanted to blast the fuck out of here.
Nicole did too.
I applied at Disney in, I think, China as well. So
yeah, but it's always been a concern of all of ours because we all have visible tattoos. So yippee skippy. That's great. I'm so excited for this amazing thing. So yeah, it's time for a break. Let's go. I need a break. Let's go on a break. So,
let's take a break.
5 minutes.
All right,
we'll be back.
Take a break. We will talk to you guys when we get back.
All right, everyone, now that we're stopped, let's take a minute to shout out to our socials.
Since you've made it this far, maybe subscribe to our podcast. You can subscribe wherever you're listening, like Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or whatever you're listening on right now.
You can also follow us over on Instagram and TikTok at Foreverland Fairy Tales.
And most importantly, if you want more Disney content, or if you want to listen to our podcast on YouTube, make sure you find us there. We're at Foreverland Fairy Tales, and just remember to subscribe.
All right, let's get back to the episode. All right, everybody, welcome back. Let's dive into this week's episode, which was a POV of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at Walt Disney World.
It's a good one. It's a good
one of my favorite rides.
You know what I just thought of?
What?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
This pink water bottle. Come on, we gotta finish it.
This pink water bottle. Who?
I'm gonna hit you upside the head with this pink water bottle. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's literally what, when we said that's a good one, that's immediately what I thought about. Nicole, you're too young, I think,
it's
to know.
It's the Amanda Show.
Oh my God, the Zoomer knows.
I know.
Wow.
Anyway.
And blast everybody eardrums out at the same time.
You literally blast. I also blasted our eardrums out too. Sorry, guys.
Oh, man. Oh, well, that was
right.
good. All right, let's dive into Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Big Thunder Mountain, the wildest ride in the wilderness. All right, so I'm so excited to talk about Big Thunder Mountain. Yippee Skippy, Big motherfucking Thunder Mountain. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to start off with Big Thunder Mountain is such a good ride. And the reason
it really is.
It is also so good because a lot of people think that it's kind of like a little kid's roller coaster. Like looking from the outside, you would not think that this is a big thrill roller coaster, but then you get on it and the next thing you know, you're getting your like fucking spine ripped in half while going through a haunted mine shaft. So like it's a good one. It's a good ride.
Being greeted by a goat too, though.
Yeah, it's super fun. Really quick, just tiny backstory. What the fuck am I saying? What is wrong with me tonight? Okay, so really quick, let's talk about the backstory. It debuted in Disneyland first. Big shock. It debuted in 1979, so it's actually a pretty old ride, and it's still running today. Shortly after in Walt Disney World, it came in 1980, and this ride is also featured in Tokyo Disneyland and Disneyland Park in Paris. So she gets around. If you haven't If you haven't been on this ride before, it's a mine train type roller coaster. That's what they call it. And it is set among Big Thunder Mountain, which is a bustling gold mining mountain in the town of Tumbleweed. How cute and creative. So Big Thunder Mountain is actually based off of the real life Monument Valley, which is located in Arizona and Utah. And interestingly enough, the backstory of the ride and what it's based off of kind of fucks me up a little bit. So I'm going to tell really, really quick the cute little backstory that Disney made up for this ride. So there's a legend about Big Thunder Mountain, and it is that Barnabas T. Bouillon established the Big Thunder Mining Company to mine gold. And Big Thunder Mountain, apparently, what is so funny?
The way you said his name and then just continued like it was nothing.
Do this all day. You can do this all day. So, Big Thunder Mountain is a protective mountain, and it was known to be cursed for all of those who entered to mine its gold, and known to have ghostly sounds and supernatural powers in the mine. And what Disney likes to leave out, what I think is interesting, is that this is because the original story was set that this was Native Americans' land, and that this cumulus isobar dude, like a rainmaker, like was causing a curse, very racist. And like pretty much this Native American tribe was cursing the mountain because white people were mining it, which is like totally fair. But what's interesting to me, as y'all know I'm annoying, part of my degree, because I have a degree in environmental studies, is knowing environmental justice. So this made me think of the actual story of Monument Valley, which I'm going to very quickly say because I think a lot of people aren't educated on really big issues like this, and a lot of people are very ignorant to stuff like this. And this story of Big Thunder Mountain and the ride is very like playful and like, ooh, there's a curse and, you know, Native Americans haunted and it's funny and it's a legend, and what actually it's a real fucking thing that happened that's really fucked up. So Monument Valley, which I said is in Arizona and Utah, is home to the Navajo tribe, historically the Navajo tribe. And if you've seen pictures of Monument Valley, it's absolutely fucking beautiful, right? So, of course, this story of Big Thunder Mountain is very true to Monument Valley, because Monument Valley actually is a very rich source of uranium. So, in the 1940s, white people came to Monument Valley, and for the Manhattan Project, for a little history lesson, that's the whole time when they were making atomic bombs. And to make atomic bombs, you need uranium, right? So all of these white people were coming in and digging up all of this uranium, having the natives that's not the word I'm looking for, severely underpaying the natives to work in the uranium mines, pretty much bringing up uranium and contaminating the air, water, soil of the Navajo tribe, killing so many of the Navajo tribe. The white people knew exactly what they were doing. They were telling the natives that this yellow dirt was very valuable. And like the Navajos literally used this yellow dirt to build their homes. So not only was it in their water, it was in the walls of their homes. And it is still a problem today with this land and with what has happened. So I think it's very interesting to me that Big Thunder Mountain was themed off of this like curse of Native Americans, because there actually is an injustice when it comes to Monument Valley, what it is themed after. And now you all have a history lesson. And if you're interested in learning more, you can read the book Yellow Dirt. Let me look at the author. It's Yellow Dirt by Judy Pasternak. It's a really good book. It will really fuck you up because this is just one of thousands of, probably hundreds of thousands of stories of natives being wronged by white people. And then the story kind of turned into like a funny, goofy Western story. Like, the fuck. So that is my little fun history lesson of the day.
Nice. I like that.
Right? So let's go ahead and, Kurt, let's talk about what you have for Big Thunder Mountain.
I was going to say, I'll go because I have two little facts. One of my facts ties in with what you said about there being like really bad luck. So at the Disneyland version of the ride, it was recently updated. I believe, I'm not even going to pretend to know what year it was updated, but I know that it was updated pretty recently. And the Walt Disney World.
2014?
Hey.
2014, I think.
Nice.
Maybe 2012, one of those two.
And I know that Walt Disney World like has not been updated since its conception.
Nope.
So there are a couple tunnels that you go through on the Disneyland track, and each tunnel that you enter, whether it be a wood entrance, like you're going into a mine, a rock cave, each tunnel entrance has a horseshoe for good luck to keep away like bad luck. And they're all like turned up like how they're supposed to be for good luck. And then the very, very last one, the really steep one where it has like all like the bombs exploding and there's smoke and there's red lights and your car's going back and forth. If you look at the entrance to that one, the horseshoe is upside down. So there is no good luck in that tunnel. So I thought that was really interesting and really plays into the story of what they're going for. So my second one, also really cool piece of information regarding the Disneyland track, are the animal sound recordings that you hear throughout the ride. So you hear your goat. Yeah, you hear the goat, you hear coyotes, and a plethora of other animals that you would find in the wild, wild west. But the recordings were so lifelike and so realistic that the sound engineers who were working on Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, I believe that's the second Indiana Jones movie, they went to Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, recorded the animal noises and the roller coaster running to use as the sounds and the soundtrack for the minecart chase scene in the movie.
Ooh, that is very interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was a fun little tidbit.
If you think of it, though, I feel like it's way more work to like take your whole production crew to the ride to record it other than just like finding the animals and being like, say something.
Right. They're probably like, well, let's just go here. It's close enough. It's realistic.
That's true. It's close.
We don't have to find a coyote and make him howl.
But it would be cool if it did. No, I guess it is easier just to go to the ride. I feel like it's less authentic, though. Anyway, nice. Great. Is that all?
Yeah, that's it. Those are my fun facts.
Those are interesting little tiddly biddlies.
Yeah.
So, Nicole, what do you got for us today?
Let's head over to the medical aspect of Big Thunder Mountain.
The best part.
Man.
The best part.
We're gonna say that you have a kidney stone. Did you know that you have a 64% chance of getting rid of that kidney stone riding Big Thunder Mountain at least 3 times consecutively?
Did I not say that it rips your spine in half? Did I not say that?
Does.
You did. And like, so we're going to talk about it later, but I had vertigo and I brought it up to my doctor. I was like, I was at Disney World and I'm pretty sure like one ride did it. And she was like, oh my God, no way. Same. So this dude went to the doctor and was like, hey, I think I passed a kidney stone while riding this ride at Disney World. And they were like, excuse me, what? So they took to turn this whole thing into a study. They 3D printed a kidney, like just like an average kidney. And they planned a trip to Walt Disney World. And they had different like sizes of kidney stones, right? They put them in the kidneys. I don't know why my shit always makes me laugh. No, so they put these kidney stones in, right? And then they went to Big Thunder Mountain and they rode it in different positions of the ride with this kidney, this fake ass kidney, and they held it where a kidney's supposed to be just to be like, let's see what's gonna happen. And when they sat in the front of the roller coaster, because it doesn't whip you around as much, it was a 17% like rate of success. And if they sat in the back of the train, so they rode this ride 60 consecutive times in different spots. Like, think about, like, could you fucking imagine? Absolutely not. And so they rode it in the back of the roller coaster, and because that shit jostles you up, it was a 64% success rate. So they were like, holy shit. If you have a small kidney stone, go ride Big Thunder Mountain a couple times and you should be fine.
I just had like a preview in my head of a Disney short called The Little Kidney Who Could. And like it's literally but it's like
the little kidney who took 20 times to could.
But just imagine like a little kidney on like an airplane and like Mickey ears like going to Disney World for the first time. Like that's literally what I'm picturing happening. Like a whole Disney short.
My thought process was imagine being the other people on the ride
like,
with this person with like a 3D printed kidney.
The photo passes. You don't get photos on that ride. Never mind. But like,
you can picture it though.
Do you think that if they had photo passes, that they hung them all up like with the kidney?
Maybe.
Could you imagine being the guy holding the kidney?
Okay, but that experiment has so many. They only wrote it 60 times with one 3D printed kidney.
Yeah,
those numbers should not be published.
The preliminary studies findings support the anecdotal evidence that a ride on a moderate intensity roller coaster could benefit some patients with small kidney stones. Dr. David Wartginger, a professor of emeritus of
You know what? My stomach
said.
hurting supports that I might have to fart, but there's a 66% chance that I might shit my pants instead. So you know what?
Specifically on Big Thunder, though.
Yeah. So it is interesting, though, that like people actually like really put a lot of effort into this study.
Okay, but if they were like, go study a kidney stone, if they told you that they cured it at fucking Big Thunder Mountain, that's like a free pass to Disney World. They're like, hey, fucking 3D print something so we can go to Disney.
How much do you want to bet that doctor is absolutely like a Disney obsessed adult and was like, how about we turn this into a study so that we can go ride Big Thunder Mountain 60 times?
Fast pass,
Yikes.
fast pass, fast pass, fast pass.
Oh my God.
So yeah, that's my fun tiddly bit.
Nice.
Thank you.
Really stimulating.
Yep, I know.
We're all full of yippee skippy tiddly bits today.
Hell yeah. Retweet.
Yes.
Alrighty. Well, let's take another break. And when we come back, we will dive into our therapy session, which was teased at the beginning. Can't wait. Alrighty. Welcome back. Let's dive right into this therapy session. And I guess it's my week this week, so I'm just gonna dive right in and continue the conversation from when Nick brought up housekeeping. I was a little emotional today when I saw the picture. I'm pretty sure it's the same picture you saw on Instagram of the cast member who had her like tan line on her arms from wearing long sleeves covering her tattoos. She looked to be an older lady. And I was just like, I didn't realize how much seeing somebody with tattoos at Disney would inspire me. If that just sounds, I know it sounds like kind of lame, but like, I feel like always wanting to work for Disney and auditioning for Disney and not getting in for a lot of reasons, mostly because I have tattoos, was really I don't know, it just kind of made me like a little like down in the dumps about like never really being able to work at this place that I love so much. And I find it really inspiring and really helpful. And I feel like they're just adding a lot of magic to a lot of people who haven't had it. And me and us being one of them.
And I think them too, like it's kind of giving them a little bit of magic to be themselves, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be pissed if I had to cover up my tattoos all the time, especially in the Florida heat.
And I saw somebody who's part of the LGBT community on TikTok today say that they just got off their first shift, and they were able to have their nails painted. And it was, I believe it was, he identifies as a man, but he had his nails painted and he was super happy about it and was like, I have never felt more myself at work. And he's like, all of my coworkers were really happy. He's like, I've gotten a couple like dirty looks from people who were there, some guests. He's like, but overall it was a really great experience, and I'm super happy that I'm able to do this. And I think that it's such a great thing. But like Nick said, on the opposite side, there's so much pushback for literally nothing that affects them. And I just want to, I guess, just have like a group therapy session and just talk about it, because I feel like we share a lot of the same opinion on this matter. And I think that it's important that we discuss it and that we can kind of give an insight onto why it's such a big deal and to why it's just really annoying that people are pushing back about this.
Yeah, it's so fucked up. Like it really bothers me. The whole situation of just people, like it's all of the same generation, which pisses me off too. It's like mostly like older white women, like from their 60s up, that have a problem with it.
Or it's also a lot of parents.
Right. Or parents, which I have something to say about parents too. So I'll bring that up. So fuck you first off. Not all parents. Don't fuck all of you. Just some of them. I mean, like, there's just so much I want to say, but I'm trying to just make this like an impactful
I guess let's
session.
start. Yeah, I guess let's start. Maybe I guess we can each say something about like why this is such like a powerful thing for us personally. And I feel like, I mean, I already said mine. I feel like, I was a dancer for 10 years, moved out to LA, and I went to go audition for Magic Happens and made it like all the way into the very last audition and got turned down. And I mean, they don't really tell you why. And I'm not going to sit here and say it was only because of my tattoos, but I mean, I have a lot of tattoos and I'm sure that was a huge part of it. And, it's always been a dream of mine to be a dancer or an entertainer at Disney and Disney World, Disneyland. It doesn't matter. And it was just kind of like, I don't know, it was just kind of like dream smashing to me. So I feel like this is opening a door for possibilities that didn't exist before. So that's why I think that this is such a great thing for me personally and why I love it so much.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. Well, I don't want to say I understand. I have empathy for you, because the reason why it's impactful for me is I've been on the other end, is I've been wholeheartedly accepted by every profession I've ever entered looking the way that I look. And the thing that really upsets me is this closed-mindedness and hearing the way that these people talk about others. Because, like, for example, I had bright pink hair, tattoos showing, and I got hired on to work for a Catholic nonprofit. My boss was a nun. And the fact that people are holding on to this crutch of professionalism and modesty, I literally had my boss, a nun, tell me, I love your pink hair and the way that you express yourself and the way that you're able to come to work and be comfortable and be you. I started putting she, her in my bios in my email like signature, and this person, my boss, came up to me and was like, can you explain to me why this is important to you? Because I would like to do it if it'll make others feel safe. And that shows you right there the Catholic religion, I'm sure, doesn't want to advertise that they had someone, it's not in their overhead to be like, oh, we hire people, we love people with tattoos. But this person who works for this huge entity who opposes it has an open mind and understands how important it is to have people feel safe in the workplace. So if you're holding that as a crutch, you're wrong. You're an asshole. It's all about the perception of the person and not the whole. So you have nothing to hide behind, and that makes you a coward and a piece of shit. So that's like my little why it's just so inspiring to me that this company is knowing that there are a lot of people in this demographic coming out and saying, fuck you, we don't care about you. These cast members have been through hell. These cast members have had to be in 100-degree heat wearing long sleeves because you're an asshole and can't handle someone showing off the art on their body. So I think that's why it's impactful to me that this company is saying, fuck you. We care more about our cast members and I wouldn't go that far, but we're starting to learn to care more about our cast members and we care about your perception of our company. So that's why, that's super important to me. It's a huge thing for Disney to do this, knowing that, there's such this, stigma against Disney. Like everyone knows that nobody works at Disney has tattoos or you can't show them. So for them to do this is just really like great. I have a couple other things. So Nicole, if you how do you feel about this? Like, what's your take on what that's like?
Sure. Yeah. No, I don't know.
Or just really why it's important to you.
No, that's fair. It's really exciting, kind of for the same reasons. I mean, for the current job that I'm at, when I was interviewing, one of the first questions, not one of the first, but like one of the first, like after he was like, do you have any questions? Was like, am I allowed to have like not natural colored hair? Am I allowed to have visible tattoos? Like it's the stigma that Nick was mentioning around professionalism, and it shouldn't matter that I have a tattoo on my body. If I have a piece of art on my body or a different color in my hair, that makes me less professional. Like, no, fuck you. That's kind of my take on it. It was a combination of the both of yours. So
yeah. And I mean, I would like to kind of structure this therapy session a little bit because I know that we can all of us can go on like an hours long rant about everything. So I would like to combat, I guess, just converse and combat some of the main reasons why people are so against this. And I think the first one that I would like to just talk about is what we've all said, that veil of professionalism. I feel like people hold professionalism to an image to a fault. It really doesn't matter working as a dancer in like a customer service type environment at a dance studio. And mostly dealing with an older generation of clients, I feel like there is nothing that is more professional than a good personality. And it has absolutely nothing to do with what color your hair is, what piercings you have, how many piercings you have, where your piercings are, or same thing with tattoos. I have 10, 11 tattoos. I don't remember at this point, and they're like, I have one behind my ear. I have it on my wrist, my leg, my arm. They're kind of all over the place. I have a huge chest tattoo, and I remember being told, no piercings, blah, blah, blah. You have to keep your tattoos covered. As a professional dancer, I had to, cake makeup on them. And after a while, I just stopped caring because I know that how somebody looks on the outside isn't what makes somebody a good person. And I feel like that's really what it comes down to, is that everybody is judging a book by its cover, right? Everybody's saying, oh, well, if you have pink hair, you're not professional. You don't have a good personality to be professional. You're this, degenerate piece of shit that's not going to take care of me and my kids when my kid is having an anxiety attack or an episode or something's going wrong and you can't handle that situation. because you have pink hair. Like, how does that even compute? How do you come to that answer of that equation in your head? And two, I feel like how inexperienced in social life do you have to be that you haven't had an interaction with somebody in 2021 who has a tattoo or more than one earlobe piercing? Like, have you literally been in self-quarantine for the past 50 years? And if so, then you shouldn't have been complaining about coronavirus for the past year, like a lot of them have.
You're used to it. Yeah.
Right.
I was going to say it's the same group of people who aren't staying at
for
home,
real.
though.
So I feel like there's so much that's being said about this, like I said, this veil of professionalism that isn't they're fighting this false lie of what professionalism is, and it's just really grinds my gears.
Yeah, fuck them. It's fucking fucked up. Okay. So the two things that I've seen that bother me the most is, one, I've seen someone say that Disney is now going to be dirty and trashy.
Yikes.
Calling the people with these tattoos, whatever, dirty. Second, people saying that kids are supposed to have a fairy tale, and this is going to ruin that fairy tale perception. So that's my second thing. I wanted to talk about later the fact of, like, I've seen so many people saying that it's like a show, like, right? Like, you're on stage, you're supposed to be a character. And I feel like this will also hit that on the head too. So I'm glad you're bringing that up. Yeah, I'm going to try. If you still want to talk about that, I'm actually going to take it into a slightly different direction. Holding people more accountable for their own family. So first off, the phrase saying somebody is dirty or trashy or disgusting because of a tattoo or a piercing is an inherently racist phrase. And the reason I say that is because, one, there are cultures where tattoos are a beautiful celebratory part of their culture. So saying someone who has tattoos is dirty and disgusting, you're already discrediting so many cultures that celebrate tattoos on their bodies. Secondly, if you're classifying someone who has tattoos as dirty, someone with a difference on their skin, how the fuck do you feel about someone with a different skin color than yours? If you think tattoos, something small that most people can't even notice unless you have full sleeves, are making you dirty because it's tarnishing your pristine white skin, just like let that sink in of just, you know, that person is racist if that's how they feel about something like a tattoo. And it disgusts me knowing that people view people with markings on their skin as dirty. That one hit me so hard because it's like, you're disgusting for thinking that. Nobody is dirty because of the way they express themselves. Those cultures that celebrate tattoos are not dirty and disgusting. You're a fucking piece of shit. So that one really bothered me.
If you think about where, like, the stigma in America comes from, having tattoos, because I know that there's also a stigma in Japan with tattoos, and it's really heavily associated with gangs in Japan. But if you think about it in America, I feel like the stigmatism that comes from tattoos in America comes mostly from indigenous peoples, and how the indigenous peoples really donned tattoos of their tribe, of their culture, of their ancestors, and it was just part of their tribal culture. And when a lot of the indigenous peoples were raped and eradicated, they ended up, Americans and white people just took what made them an individual, what made the indigenous individual, and made it a disgusting thing that you would never want to do that to yourself, because look at those people. Look at those uncivilized people who have those things. That's what you are when you do that. And I feel like that's really, truly where all of that comes from. in America.
Yep.
And it's not just indigenous. I feel like it's also, different tribes around the world who have that same ideals of tattooing.
Well, it's like with like an Indian culture with like henna and stuff too. Like they're not permanent, but it's the same
still
concept.
A decoration on your skin. It's a celebration on your skin.
And then another layer of it, they turn it into Catholicism, and they're like, well, your body is a temple. You're destroying your body and blah, blah, blah. Jesus Christ. So it's
Mary, Jesus, Joseph.
For real. Like, it's just this never ending wash of systemic racism. And it just is really coming through with Disney making this decision.
Right. It's like this Karen has just had this built up in them for so long. They just needed an outlet where they didn't think they'd look racist for saying they think tattoos are dirty. But it's really just your deep-seated racism that you just really had buried deep. Maybe not even buried deep down in there. Who knows? You're probably a fucking racist asshole day to day.
And it's just so sad. It's just so sad that if you think about all these people who just blindly follow these stereotypes that tattoos are bad or tattoos are dirty and that you're unprofessional if you have them, without ever thinking of why like what makes it unprofessional, what makes, what is the reason behind that. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, well, I don't know, it just is. Yep,
people are assholes. Okay, so really quick, even though that was great conversation, so I'm not even mad that we talked for a little bit about that. Second part is people being like, my kid is supposed to be a fairy tale, and my kid's going to have a tarnished view of Disney. Okay, the reason your kids have no problem with tattoos, I can tell you right now. Nicole, I don't know if you had tattoos while you taught kids, but I have been working with kids. I have worked with kids ranging from 5 years old to high school. The young ones that I taught had zero problems with my tattoos. They loved them. They loved asking questions about them. It's a stimulating thing for children. They see art on people's skin. It's intriguing. They ask questions. So these parents are upset because they actually have to fucking be parents. They actually have to talk to their kids about conversations about people's differentness and having like their kids understanding diversity among people. So you're just a lazy parent if you're saying, my kid won't have a fairy tale. No, you're just a parent that doesn't want to have a possible hard, thought-provoking conversation with your child. And that's your problem. And maybe you should just learn how to be a better parent and let your kid ask interesting questions about other people and their diversity. So
it's not Disney's job. It's not Disney's job to protect your kids from the world. That's your job.
Correct. I can absolutely hop on that bandwagon of teaching because I've also nannied a lot of kids too. And I've had tattoos. I got my first tattoo when I was 18 and I only have 3 of them right now and they're very small and they don't they're not, I don't know, they're just like lines on my body. It's fine. And I've still had my most prominent one is the one on my wrist and I'll have kids grab my hand. You know how kids do whatever they want. And they'll be touching it. When I was a first grade student teaching in first grade, they would constantly, and it was the Catholic, no, this one wasn't Catholic, was it? It was,
what school is it?
School.
Was it Nash?
21st.
Oh, 21st. That was definitely not Catholic.
Okay. My middle school that I taught at was, it was a Catholic charter school. But even so then, it just kind of opened up the eyes of kids who were I didn't know you could do that in that profession, I don't know.
Yeah, that's just it's kids. It's all your kids also want to normalize this behavior. Sure, they'll ask questions about it, but then kids also see themselves in other people. And I had so many kids be like, I love this. I love the idea of decorating my body in things that I love. Yeah. And you're just
why wouldn't you want to,
Well, and that conversation just opens the door for so many things. You can start this, you can have a like I said, I taught kids as young as 5 who loved, talking about my tattoos, asking questions. You can teach your 5-year-old about racism, and talking about tattoos is a wonderful segue to that of not everybody has the same skin. Some people color their skin. Some people have different colored skin. It's just a conversation that parents, I think, like to shy away and then blame the world because they are just feeling guilty about not wanting to have this conversation. So,
yeah,
right, or it's not their
I
place. It's fucking stupid.
The only thing I can input into the conversation is teaching like kids dance classes, and I wanted to kill myself the entire time.
Fair.
So I just feel like another thing is that I feel that from the response, the negative response that this has drawn is that people think that Disney has not hired people with tattoos. Like, it's not like they're going to go out and go to a tattoo convention and be like, hey, let's set up an interview booth and have all these people who have tattoos interview. Like, the people are still going to give you magic. It's literally the same people that were there a week ago when this rule wasn't in place and they were still covering their tattoos.
And they had long sleeves. Now they have short sleeves.
Right. You were fine with them then. Why would you not be fine with them now? It's not like they're going to go out in this mass hiring spree and hire all of these tattoos.
Freaks. Yeah.
Right. And then get all the people with tattoos, pink hair, and multiple ear piercings. So it's just something that is so, it's just so outdated and so just asinine for me to even think about.
And that just another little thing that just made me think of a lot of people were like, it wasn't Walt's vision to have Disney like this. Dude, Walt's dead. Walt was dead before Walt Disney World was even like fully open. Walt doesn't give a fuck. Walt would care about your money. Walt would care about the guest feeling happy. And Walt probably, I mean, maybe Walt would care, but who cares? He's fucking dead. He's dead. Nobody cares what Walt's vision is anymore other than being happy in a theme park. Like, fuck off.
Right. And the phrase is, to all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Right.
Not to the ones who don't have tattoos, pink hair, or ear piercings. Welcome.
What a good therapy session. God, I'm so happy we could bitch about that because I'm just like, fuck these. Like, I just see I've read so many. Okay, just say, with all the negative, to every one negative comment, there's about 50 positive comments. So I can't even be like mad. But like just a couple of ones I've seen are so like, they just dig at me. And I just literally like, if I could just take one free shot, like I would punch one of these old ladies so hard because. And it's just,
like I said earlier, I really wanted to have a conversation about it on the podcast because I feel like, we do have a variety of listeners who are, some of them are parents, some of them are not, some of them are cast members, some of them are ex-cast members. And I think that it's important for people to hear opinions that are not of their own so that they can be helped to understand where people who are in this situation, where we're coming from.
Yes.
And, it's not always this negative thing, which is why I wanted to start out, like why it's important to us. And why it's such a big deal. And I think that, it could be helpful to people who don't agree with us to listen. And I mean, honestly, at this point, if you don't agree with things that we say, I know you're not listening because we're very open-minded. Yeah. Or sorry, we speak our mind.
None of us.
Not us.
Yeah.
None of us apologize. Like, I don't apologize for telling you to fuck off if you think that way because you're a person who's probably terrorized someone or been an asshole or been racist or thought really horrible things. So I don't feel bad if you're listening and you're offended because I said that because it's 2021 and it's time to maybe fucking grow. So
God, and it's just also, I just thought of something else. Like, it's just also so frustrating to me to think that like, why are people with tattoos like, why are tattoos like such like this awful thing? Like, I have tattoos that represent my family. I have tattoos that represent, my grandmother who's passed away and things that are super important to me. Like, I get it if I have a tattoo of somebody like fucking a clown, like
right
on the back of my neck, or like Mickey doing a line of coke off of Donald's tail. Like, if I have
tail,
that,
you mean dick.
like if I have those tattoos, by all means, don't hire me. But I just don't understand why, there are people who have, cancer ribbons or dates of family members that they've loved that have passed away, and you're going to call them dirty because of that and say that they're not going to have, a magical touch to make your vacation whatever the fuck you want it to be. Like, go to hell. Just fucking one-way trip down Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
I'm also shocked that most of these people definitely look like bootlickers, and like tattoos are deeply like concurrent with the army. Like my dad is covered literally from his neck to his toes in tattoos that he got while serving this country. So, and he has actually, I mean, my dad's kind of a dipshit, but like he served this country. He's a veteran, and he has been turned down for multiple professional jobs because of his tattoos, even though he's completely qualified for the job. And they've straight up told him, yeah, sorry, bro, it's because you have 2 full sleeves and there are tattoos on your hands and neck. Even though my father served this fucking country, can't even get a fucking job. So, I mean, he has a job now and he's had jobs, but he has been turned down from professional jobs before because of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, in short, get over yourself. It's Disney. Yeah. It's not the end of the world.
In long, rewind this part of the podcast.
Right. Go cry about it and rewind this.
Yeah. All right. Let's head into our coping session. Nicole, it is your week.
Welcome back to the medical side of the podcast.
It's your boy.
It's your boy. I am going to... Are you sweating or are you telling me to hurry up?
Both. Yeah, it's both.
Okay, so for this coping session, I mentioned vertigo earlier. Thanks, hashtag mission space, orange side. We chatted about that a little bit. But I am going to tell you how I cope with having vertigo in the parks. Or vertigo in life now, too. But specifically in the parks. So it happened on a trip a couple years ago. I mentioned I went and saw a doctor finally because we were going on a cruise, because there's 2 different types of vertigo. There's severe like nausea vertigo where you're constantly like ready to throw up at any point, but you actually don't throw up at any point. And there's dizziness. So I didn't have dizziness. I had severe nausea, and I also have an immense fear of throwing up. So it was a good 2 years of my life.
We do have the full story up, I believe, in a like second or third episode.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to hear that, go back and listen to it.
Great, yeah,
it's a good story.
I thought I got into this. I think that was a therapy session, actually, now that we're getting into it. But yeah, no, how I cope is I now carry around a full-on like medicine bag with me, because I've tried every anti-nausea medication. I would try aspirin. I made one of my friends at the time go get me C-bands, those things that are supposed to pressure point your wrist to like stem. I don't even fucking know. I think it was a hoax. But I wore them in the parks, and
isn't it for like motion sickness?
What?
Isn't it for like motion sickness?
Mm-hmm. But,
yeah, it helps.
But I had severe nausea, and it would set off motion sickness. So like any flights I would go on, riding in the cars, what really did it for me was the slow moving rides, like Haunted Mansion. I literally could not ride those because it was the slow motion of the ride, and just like you're not really going anywhere. The fast rides were better because you just couldn't process what was going on. But yeah, no, I just carry a medicine bag around with me. I carry Dramamine in case. Yeah, no, but
what's in your medicine bag?
Dramamine, Advil. Sometimes
does Dramamine
Bonine.
Help you?
Yeah, they have 2 different types of Dramamine. So they have an all-day Dramamine, which is not the drowsy kind. And then they have the regular Dramamine, which can knock you out. And that's what I used to have to do to myself on planes, is I used to have to drug myself with Dramamine like 20 minutes before a flight would take off and pass out for the flight. Otherwise, I would like be hyperventilating in the middle seat, just ready to die.
So, I mean, do you feel that Dramamine is like helpful? Because I've also heard a lot of people like don't find Dramamine to be helpful because it's basically just like, or like a natural version of Dramamine is just like straight up like ginger powder.
See, okay, they have Dramamine that is ginger based, so I'm assuming that that's what that they're referring to. But the Dramamine that was ginger, because I've literally tried it all, did nothing for me. It gave me really bad acid reflux. But the regular Dramamine worked wonders for me. Bonine worked a little bit. Dramamine all day didn't work at all. So it was just like finding the right combination of medication and making sure it was stocked for the trip and knowing your limits and staying hydrated and eating. Because when I would get nauseous, I wouldn't eat, and then I would get lightheaded and then not be able to walk. And it was a mess. It was a 2-year-long mess. But yeah.
I think that's a really good point. I think it also maybe would be important too, because we've all been to the park so much. Like vertigo isn't all that common. So like also just like coping with like regular sickness in the park as well. Like,
heard, yeah.
Because like Nicole made a good point, like vertigo makes her nauseous. And like sometimes you get food poisoning in the park. Sometimes you get heat exhaustion in the park. Sometimes you just don't feel fucking good. And like, I know you can't always plan for that, but if you're staying on resort, something to know is if something happens to you, all of your resorts have like med stations that you could buy medicine, but also like there should be some sort of like first aid somewhere. Personally, if I was staying on resort, I would probably Uber to like a Walgreens, because you're going to be paying like $25 for Dramamine in the resort.
That's what we did when we went to go get C-bands and like different types of Dramamine and like motion sickness meds, because I was not buying it.
Yeah,
and
it's so expensive.
it's like in the gift shop of the resort.
Yes,
they have an entire like pharmacy area.
Yep. Nicole, you also hit it on the head, like staying hydrated. Personally, if you're vomiting, like Nicole, your situation is different because you literally had vertigo and it was like nausea. But if you like start just like throwing up in the park, like you should probably leave. I know that sucks and like it might ruin your day, but like if you're infectious, like you can potentially infect like a bunch of people. Yeah. So maybe you should just like leave. That's a good way to cope.
I would do though? I would head straight to like the first aid station in whatever park I'm at, specifically if it's in Magic Kingdom, because those are really fucking nice.
Oh, they're the best. It's so nice. It's so nice. And I don't know, like, I don't think they charge you. Like, I don't think they charge your insurance or anything. Like, I think you just get like help. And the first aid in Magic Kingdom is awesome because it's attached to the baby care like center. And I went in there once and it's like a sweet ass setup in there. Like they'll give you water, they'll give you cookies. Like it's pretty awesome.
Nice. Good on them.
And also like know how to improvise. Just like maybe be on your toes. Like shit happens, especially if you have kids. Like kids be throwing up and getting sick all the time. So maybe you should just like pre-pack that shit.
Well, that's like also with the medicine bag. Like my medicine bag, I guess I made it seem like it was an entire like toiletry bag. It's like, I don't know, just it's tinier than a wallet.
Right.
But it just has like my essentials in it.
Yeah, you're allowed to bring it. Like the chances of your children eating like 13 cupcakes and riding Space Mountain and vomiting everywhere is pretty high. Like that happens a lot in Disney. So yeah, I love that you brought up the first aid stations because they're so fucking nice in there.
Yeah, they're real nice.
Yeah. So this is a good one.
Yeah, great coping session. That was nice. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up our episode this week. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you guys tune in next week. We release episodes every Friday. You can also find them on our YouTube channel, Foreverland Fairy Tales. So like I said in the beginning, I'm Kurt.
I'm Nick.
I'm Nicole.
And we are Magically Unstable. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye. Stay safe and magical, everybody.